Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and I want to talk about how Dungeons & Dragons canon gets carried to different places in shocking ways. All right, let's get into this. All right. So just this week, okay, Dungeons & Dragons canon was carried. It was moved from one location to another location, and it puts Dungeons & Dragons canon in direct connection to other canon, in my humble opinion. And I want to talk about this. All right, so Critical Role, they've been chopping it up with Jeff Bezos. Hey, Jeff, buddy, can I know you love Vox Machina season 1 and 2. I know you're looking forward to season 3. And I know you're really excited about Mighty Nein season 1, right? But I know you're most excited about Mighty Nein season 1. And Jeff's like, yes, thanks, Matthew. Who are the other people with you? And Matt's like, nobody. Don't worry about it. Like, because Critical Role ain't nothing but Matthew Mercer, in my humble opinion. So, all right, let's keep moving here. Okay, so basically, they chopping it up with Jeff Bezos, and because they chopping it up with Jeff Bezos on the regs, right? They can walk into any shop now and be like, this is what we want, right? And that's what they did, right? So they went to Universus CCG, and they're like, oh, hey, we see you got a cute little CCG there. How about you put some Critical Role characters in there? And they're like, Critical Roles, what's that now? And Matthew Mercer's like, hey, I wrote a Dungeons & Dragons canon hardback. It has this nation called Exandria. It's D&D canon. It's got the red ampersand on it. There's no difference between Explorer's Guide to Wildemount and Curse of Strahd. Same book, same cover. Canon, baby, right? So I'm D&D canon. So I'm Matthew Mercer, and you're looking at D&D canon, right? And when you look at Vox Machina, all those characters were rolled up. All those characters are Dungeons & Dragons characters, and we play them with Dungeons & Dragons every single week. Vox Machina is Dungeons & Dragons, right? Right. So we're going to bring D&D canon. Oh, this character Vex, that's a ranger. This character Vax, actually, I think, yeah, Vex is a ranger, right? Vax has at least one level of rogue, right? That's D&D canon, right? Rogue and ranger are D&D canon. That D&D canon gets carried to into Universus, which has existing worlds, okay? So you're taking Dungeons & Dragons canon, you're moving it to Universus CCG. Now, this is the second CCG that Dungeons & Dragons exists in. It already exists heavily, right, in Magic the Gathering. Magic Gathering, Ravnica, Theros, Strixhaven. And Strixhaven is the real kicker, because Strixhaven connects to every D&D realm, right? And Strixhaven is built so it can connect to, in my humble opinion, anything that has a Magic the Gathering back, right? All the spells are cast the same way, right? All the summoning is being done the same way, right? All the types are the same. The magic's the same, right? Right? Yeah. So once you take the canon into Universus, here's the kicker. Godzilla is canon in Universus, right? He's right there, right? So my question then is, when we get Godzilla X Kong, logically, that world directly connects to Dungeons & Dragons, right? Because both canons were carried to a central point, right? And this is what I'm saying. Dungeons & Dragons does not function like any other intellectual property in the world. It is infiltrating every major intellectual property in the world, right? And it's done so powerfully, so quickly, so subtly, that I am convinced that the suits that are connecting these worlds and carrying canon to click, 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 connect them together are completely unaware of what they're doing, right? Because Dungeons & Dragons, we know this. Dungeons & Dragons is not understood. Most suits think Dungeons & Dragons is a board game. They don't understand that Dungeons & Dragons is a system that permissions us to tell stories with the characters, right? And, in my humble opinion, gives ownership to a portion of that story to us, right? Pretty profound. So I just wanted to kind of, like, cover that in detail, because this stuff happens quickly and people are not paying attention, right? Dungeons & Dragons is being carried and connecting it directly to other worlds in ways that are not happening on any other intellectual property in the world. Certainly not at the speed, certainly not with the subtlety, certainly not with the directness that is being done with Dungeons & Dragons. Dungeons & Dragons is truly the most misunderstood, understood, underestimated intellectual property that has ever been created by any human being. And it was created on February 7th, 1974 by Gary Gygax. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. That's not the important part. The important part is when I get to hear your verified identity account humble opinion. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.